Hello everybody, my name's Dean. Welcome to Sermons from the Cave. We're in this beautiful wind cave. The wind is cooking right now, so is the temperature. We're in chapter 3 of the book of Exodus. Last time Moses was out tending the sheep. He comes to the burning bush where God's speaking to him from this bush that's burning but not being consumed. God basically tells him, look at Moses, I'm going to go send you to tell Pharaoh to let the children of Israel go. And so listen to Moses' response. It says in chapter 3, verse 11, "But Moses said to God, 'Who am I that I should go to Pharaoh and that I should bring the children of Israel out of God?'" So here's Moses, after God, the creator of everything we see around us, tells you that you're going to do something for him. Here's Moses telling him, well, who am I that I should go to Pharaoh? I mean, he's like saying, God, you're making a mistake. I mean, that's impossible. God doesn't make mistakes. So this is really, Moses is getting off to a horrible start. And then it says, then listen to God's answer. Such a loving father. He says, this is God speaking. He says, I will certainly be with you, and this shall be a sign to you that I've sent you. When you have brought the people out of Egypt, you shall serve God on this mountain. So here, he's preparing Moses that something special is going to happen on Mount Horeb, the mountain of God, once you lead the children out of Israel. And now, so that was Moses' first but. The English language is typically very bland. We don't have a lot of verbs and adjectives to describe things. For instance, the word love, that's all we have, love. You can use it a bunch of different ways. It can mean a lot of different things. But in the Greek language, there's 4 words that describe different aspects of love. One would be, I think it's stega, which is oh boy, that's the hardest one for me to remember. There's phileo, which is kind of a brotherly love. I think the stega is the one where it's a tenderness for a natural affection for a mother's parents' affection for their children. And then phileo is just a brotherly love. Then there's eros, which is more of a where they get the word. It's kind of like erotic. It's more of a lustful or a passionate, with no concern about the other person, so to speak. It's more of a kind of like a wolf would tend to want to feed on sheep. It's kind of like, he's got that desire to go after the sheep. It's not in their best interest. And then the last form of love in the Greek language is agapeo or agape. And this is the love that God has for us. This is the love that Christ demonstrated on the cross. This typifies the verse that he said, "Greater love has no man than to lay down your life for a friend." That's the guy in the trenches, that's the Marine that's falling on a hand grenade in front of 4 or 5 of his friends. He's taking the impact. He's going to lose his life, but he's going to save his friends. That's what God has done for us by sending Jesus Christ, his Son, to the earth to take upon our sin, to die upon that cross, so that we may live, if all who come to him. What a great story. And we're seeing the groundwork for it. But here we are in front of the God tells Moses that he's going to send him to tell Pharaoh to let the children of Israel go. And then listen to this. Then Moses said to God, "Indeed, when I come to the children of Israel and say to them, the God of your fathers has sent me to you, and they will say to me, well, then what's his name? And what shall I say to him?" And this is so, I love this part of the Bible. And God said to Moses, "I am who I am." It's like, what more can you possibly need? When you have God on your side, God, the God that holds every molecule together, the God the seeing God that can see, what's the best thing for you, the God that hears. He saw the oppression of the Egyptians, and he heard their cries, and he's going to deliver him. He's going to raise up Moses. He's been preparing Moses for 40 years to be raised up to lead them out of Egypt. But he says, "I am who I am." And then he goes on to say, Thus you shall say to the children of Israel, I am has sent me to you. Moreover, God said to Moses, thus you shall say to the children of Israel, the Lord of God your fathers, the God of Abraham, the God of Isaac, and the God of Jacob, has sent me to you. Now what's important about this is these are three important patriarchs of the nation of Israel. That's not a nation yet, but this large gathering of Israel's children, of Abraham's children. And he's reminding them, look, I'm the God that visited Abraham. I'm the God that visited Isaac. I'm the God that visited Jacob. And here I am speaking to Moses, and I'm going to deliver you. So it's just a really neat part of the Bible. And so what does Moses do? God's telling him that he's going to go to Egypt. He's going to talk to Pharaoh, and that he'll deliver the children to the promised land, basically is what he said. And he tells Moses to go get a bunch of elders of Israel and to tell them what I told you, and then that they're going to say to the king of Egypt, the Lord God of the Hebrews has met with us, and now please let us go 3 days' journey into the wilderness that we may sacrifice to our God. This is God speaking. But I am sure that the king of Egypt will not let you go, no, not even by a mighty hand. So here we have the omniscience of God. And listen, folks, we're running out of time. We'll get back to this in a few minutes, but until then, Shalom Mishpachah.